How do you make a woman feel desire for you, even when she doesn't seem interested at all? Hi, I'm Sadia, and today we're diving into something most men never truly learn. You know that moment when you're talking to a woman who seems amazing, but her interest just isn't there. You try being kind, you give her attention, you show effort, and yet, instead of getting closer, she feels more distant. The harder you try, the less she responds, and that's confusing, because what most men don't realize is this: you're not doing the wrong things. You're just doing the right things in the wrong sequence. Attraction doesn't grow the way logic works. It's not about proving yourself with effort, words, or consistency alone. Attraction is emotional, it's instinctive, and while you were trying to show her you'd be a good partner, her mind was quietly scanning for completely different signals. Signals you didn't even know existed. Research in psychology shows that attraction often comes from mental shortcuts, deep patterns the brain responds to automatically. Once you understand these patterns, something shifts. You stop chasing, you stop forcing things, and instead, you become someone she naturally feels drawn toward. So today I'm going to share 7 psychological triggers that create real desire. And I'll tell you now, the final one is incredibly powerful. Almost no one uses it correctly, but when you do, it can change everything fast. Before we go further, understand this clearly. This was never your fault. No one taught you this growing up. School didn't explain it. Society didn't explain it. So if you've struggled before, that's normal. But now you're about to see things differently. Let's start with the first trigger: masculine presence. This isn't about looks. It's not about muscles or appearance. It's about energy. When you enter a room, do you feel grounded, or do you quietly shrink? Because women sense this within seconds. A man who moves calmly, who doesn't rush, who isn't searching for approval, communicates value without saying a single word. That kind of presence is rare, and what's rare becomes attractive. Imagine you're in a social setting. Instead of scanning the room nervously, you slow down. Your posture relaxes. Your breathing steadies. You observe without needing validation. That small shift changes everything. She doesn't see a man trying to impress. She sees a man who already feels enough, and that feeling is magnetic. The second trigger is emotional challenge. Most men avoid this. They agree with everything. They try to be easy, agreeable, safe. But attraction doesn't grow from constant agreement. It grows from contrast, from tension, not conflict, but playful tension. When you lightly challenge her, you create polarity, and polarity creates attraction. For example, she says she loves waking up early. Instead of agreeing, you smile and say, "Really? You don't look like a morning person at all." It's playful, it's light, it's confident. You're not trying to impress her, you're engaging with her, and that creates a spark. Because attraction needs a little friction, not constant smoothness. The third trigger is selective attention. This is where many men lose their advantage. They give too much attention too quickly. They're always available, always replying instantly, always prioritizing her. But here's how that feels on the other side. If your attention is unlimited, it doesn't feel valuable. A man who has purpose has a life beyond one person. He has goals, interests, routines. He doesn't revolve around her, and because of that, she starts leaning in. She becomes curious. It's not about playing games. It's about having a full life and inviting her into it. Because scarcity, real, natural scarcity, creates interest. The fourth trigger is intentional listening. Not just hearing her words, but remembering them. When you recall something she mentioned casually and bring it up later, you stand out instantly, because very few people do that. For example, she mentions she loves something simple, like orchids. Days later, you send her a picture of one and say it reminded you of her. That moment creates impact, because it shows you were present. You paid attention, and that makes her feel seen. Emotional connection grows from that feeling. Not from generic compliments, but from meaningful attention. The fifth trigger is calibrated vulnerability. Many men think they need to appear perfect, strong, unaffected, unbreakable, but perfection doesn't create connection. Honesty does. When you can share something real about yourself, a challenge, a lesson, a moment of growth, without losing your confidence, you become relatable. You become human. The key is balance. You're open, but not unstable. You're honest, but not seeking validation. That combination builds trust. And once trust is there, desire can grow. The sixth trigger is gradual physical touch. Physical connection matters, but it must be natural. Small, respectful moments of touch can create powerful emotional responses. A light touch during laughter, a brief contact on the arm, a subtle moment while walking together, nothing forced, nothing rushed. These moments create comfort, and over time, her mind begins associating you with warmth and ease. That's how attraction becomes physical, without pressure. And finally, the seventh trigger, controlled unpredictability. This is the most powerful one. The human brain is driven by dopamine, and dopamine comes from uncertainty mixed with reward. When everything about you is predictable, interest fades, but when there's a little mystery, interest grows. This doesn't mean being inconsistent or confusing. It means balance. Sometimes you initiate, sometimes you wait, sometimes you're warm, sometimes you challenge. You're not fully predictable, and that keeps her thinking about you, because the mind is drawn to what it can't fully figure out. Now you understand something most men never do. Attraction isn't about trying harder. It's about understanding what truly creates emotional impact. These aren't tricks, they're patterns. Use them with respect. Use them with awareness. You don't need perfection. You just need the right approach. And now, you have it.